everyone! Mary Muse here again today, and today we are going to talk about internal versus external validation and how the heck do we get internal validation. I came up with a list of tools and ideas, and I also borrowed some tools and ideas. I did a lot of research, so I'm going to be half reading, half talking about this topic. It's really important. This is really crucial to being able to get to that next level of evolvement, or evolution, pardon me. Yeah, so let's just get started, okay? I believe that Louise Hay says it quite perfectly well to start this out with when she says, "You have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." Just food for thought. That's going to be kind of our theme for our transactions today. We all have techniques that we depend on to lift up our spirits when we're feeling down about ourselves or our lives. A while back, I realized something about the ones that I'd found most effective when struggling to forgive or accept myself. Many of them involve seeking validation from other people. What the heck is validation? Validation means, technically, to express understanding and acceptance of yours or another person's internal experiences, whatever that may be. It is clutch to finding value in creating confidence and self-worth and in finding value to yourself. There are two different types of validation. There's internal validation and there's external validation. We love the external validation, but we need to work on this. But let me explain what they are. External validation is getting that understanding and that acceptance from external people. An example like praise or compliments or recognition, or from situations or from statuses, but it's all from the outside. Internal validation is that same understanding and acceptance, but it's derived from within your own being and substance, not needing that external appreciation. In either case, validation does not mean that you believe said thoughts or feelings are justified. We're just saying that they are there. We're just clarifying that they exist. In order to validate yourself, let me move this computer down. In order to validate yourself, I have a handy little, back up for this one. In order to validate yourself, you need to start noticing two things. The first one is you need to start noticing how much you judge yourself rather than how much you value yourself. Just kind of keep a mental tally throughout the day. Like when you're saying, "Oh, that was a stupid idea," be like, "Okay, that's 1 point on that side," or "Damn, girl, I did a good job on that." Put a point on the other side, okay? But tally it up and kind of just keep track during the day of how much you judge yourself versus how much you value yourself. The second point to being able to start validating yourself, you need to start noticing your feelings, your inner knowing, and your acts of kindness to others, and constantly value them. Give them credit. When you open the door for someone, give yourself credit for that. We oftentimes don't give ourselves enough credit because we don't feel worthy. It's a rapid cycle. We don't feel worthy, so we don't give ourselves credit, so then we feel even more worthless. So start now, right now, start giving yourself credit. You're watching this video about validation. Give yourself credit right now for trying to improve your life. Okay, let me put this down. Some of my most effective mood boosters included reading emails from readers who benefited from my writing, calling loved ones and who would remind me of how much that they valued me, sharing my experiences and recognizing through the resultant conversations that I wasn't alone with my feelings and struggles. And these are all perfectly valid approaches to feeling better, but they are not. But they are all hinged on praise and external support. Getting help from others is only one part of the equation. We also need to be able to help and support and validate ourselves. With this in mind, I've come up with 5 ideas. Okay, let me try and get me and this guy in here. Hold on 1 second. Do. Okay, well, I'll just change this around. Okay, I've come up with 7 or a few ideas to help balance my life in my support system, making myself more of a central part of my support system, not having to rely on my boyfriend, on my girlfriend, on my parents, on my coworkers. I want to be able to rely on myself and tell myself that I'm a good person and believe that I'm a good person intrinsically without having external people having to validate that for me. I want to be able to validate that for myself and be like, hell yeah, I'm boss, you know? Like I want that. And it's not cockiness, it's confidence. That's what self-validation does, is it builds self-confidence, it builds value, it builds self-worth, and that helps with depression, that helps with your self-esteem, that will completely change your life if you can grasp the concept of self-validation. So I'm gonna talk over these points that I have right here for us. Okay, that kind of works, sure. Okay, so the first one is I want you right here to make 10 positive affirmation cards. Those can be just like 3x5 cards that you write sentences on, like I want 10 of them. I am tenacious as F, okay? I am strong. I am beautiful. I am confident. I am smart. I am, list off 10 things. And even if you don't believe them, just write down things that you want to be even. Like if you don't feel pretty, write down, I am beautiful, okay? Just trust me on this, all right? I want you to write down 10 of these affirmation cards, at least 10. I've been rambling. Let me actually read what I wrote down. List off 10 intrinsically positive, oh yeah, I forgot, it has to be positive, things about yourself, your humor, your intellect, your tenacity, your appearance even. But in your own handwriting, list at least 10 positive things that you don't even have to believe that you have yet, emphasis on yet. And eventually, every morning, I want you to recite them out loud several times. With repetition, you will eventually create a historical memory bank of having said these sentences and having said these statements and having heard them and read them in your own handwriting, and it'll start to absorb into your system. Takes a couple weeks, but every morning just flip through them, read them out loud, you'll hear your voice, you'll read your handwriting, and you'll start absorbing these positive affirmations. Really important. Okay, the second point, beep, beep, beep. I would like you to make a you section in your daily gratitude journal. Of course, this assumes that you already are keeping a gratitude journal to recognize and celebrate all the good things in your day. But if you don't, you can still make a few minutes every day to give yourself credit. Note down the things that you've done well, the choices that you've made that you're proud of, the progress that you've made, and even the things that require no action at all. For example, the time you took to give yourself to simply be you. When you regularly praise yourself, self-validation becomes a habit you can depend on when you need it most. Okay, so item number 3. Oh, I just lost my computer again. Blah. 3. Before seeking external validation, I want you to ask yourself, when you're going to go to your partner, when you're going to go to your parent, your boss, and seeking validation, like I'm wearing a really cute shirt today, and so I want to go to my boyfriend and be like, hey honey, look at this cute shirt. Before I do that, I need to ask myself, what am I looking for him to respond to me? What am I seeking from him? Am I looking for him to say, well, obviously I'm looking for him to say, babe, you look hot in that shirt. That looks bomb on you. And so to figure out in your head, just start keeping track in the back of your mind. What am I seeking from these people when I am seeking attention, recognition, praise, any of that stuff, and try telling it to yourself first. what do I have written down here? Odds are you aren't always looking for someone's advice or opinion when you come to them with a painful story. You're looking for them to confirm that you didn't do anything wrong, or if you did, that you're not a bad person for it. Essentially, you're looking for someone else to see the best in you and believe in you. Give yourself what you're seeking from them before making that call, before going to them. Then by all means, make it if you want to, make the call if you want to. The goal isn't to stop from reaching out to other people. Let me emphasize that. It is not to stop you from reaching out to other people. It is it's to be there for yourself, to be your first line of support. Then go to your second line of support and be like, babe, look how bitchin' I look. But your first line of support needs to be yourself. Practice that. The words that you want to hear from someone else will be far more powerful if you fully believe what they're saying beforehand. Big key. Okay, so back to the list. Where are we at? We are at number... Recognize judging. Oh, we are at number 4. Recognize when you are judging your feelings. What? You like my sound effects when I turn the camera like that? I think all of life, like when you walk into a door, into a room, you should have a theme song like bum, 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 when it's like dramatic or something, like how they do on comedy shows. Number 4. See yourself as the... Oh, I'm sorry. Number 4. Recognize when you're judging your feelings. If you're feeling in the habit... if you're in the habit of feeling about feelings down, if you're in the habit of feeling bad about feeling down or insecure or generally having reactions to emotions, you will inevitably end up feeling stuck and helpless. So if you feel bad about feeling bad, it's going to be worse. And then you're going to feel bad about feeling bad about feeling bad. And it's going to continue and get worse. So get in the habit of telling yourself, I have a right to feel how I feel now. Repeat that one more time with me. I have a right to feel how I feel now. A God-given dopamine, serotonin right to feel how I'm feeling now. This will help you understand your feelings and work through them much more easily because you won't be so deeply embedded in negativity about yourself. Once you've accepted your feelings, you'll be then free to seek support for the actual problem of the situation instead of and not your judgment about having to deal with it. So it takes a whole layer off the cake to get down to the root problem, solves it faster. Drama is done much more simply and cleanly. Okay? So, okay, number 5. See yourself as the parent to the child version of you. Beep, beep, beep. I know this one might sound a little bit odd, but bear with me. Many of us didn't receive the type of love or support and kindness we needed growing up, and this may have taught us to treat ourselves harshly and critically when you're looking for them. For that warm, fuzzy feeling that emerges when someone you trust tells you that everything is going to be okay. Imagine yourself saying it to your younger self. Picture a 5-year-old version of yourself. If you have a picture of yourself when you're 5 years old, look at that picture of that 5-year-old version of yourself. Would you think all of these critical, negative thoughts about that 5-year-old innocent child? Like, oh, like, I don't, but like, I'm just going to use an example. I feel currently that I am out of shape. I don't like the way my body looks right now. Look at that picture of that 5-year-old girl, 5-year-old boy, and look at that picture. Would you tell that 5-year-old child, hey, guess what? You need to lose some weight, or you need to like bulk up, or you need to... No, you wouldn't do that. So practice talking to and your child self, and try parenting your child part. Picture that little kid who tried so hard, meant no harm, and just wanted to be loved and cherished. This will likely help in deflating your self-criticism and fill you with a genuine sense of compassion for yourself. Once again, this does not need to be an alternative in seeking compassion from others. It just provides a secure foundation from which you'll be better able to receive that. Number 6. Get in the habit of asking yourself, what do I need right now? Oh, Scheiße. My family's German, can you tell? Oftentimes when we're feeling down on ourselves, we have a sometimes subconscious desire to punish ourselves. When we reject or deprive ourselves in this way, we exasperate our feelings because we often feel bad about two things: the original incident and the pain that we caused ourselves, that we're causing ourselves. If you're feeling down or down on yourself, ask yourself, what does my body need? What does my mind need? What does my spirit need? Or otherwise expressed, what will make you feel better, more stable, healthier, and more balanced? You may find that you need to take a walk to feel a little bit more energized, take a nap to feel more rested, practice deep breathing to clear your head, or drink some water to hydrate yourself. This is validating yourself in action. Whether you address your needs, you are reinforcing to yourself that they are important, regardless of whatever you did or did not do previously. Number 7. Start consulting the mirror. Okay. This was a tough one for me, but I finally gotten this one down. You would think with like how much time I spend like in the mirror, like putting on makeup, that I would be comfortable in the mirror. You would think that being able to be on camera, I would be comfortable being able to look at myself, recording myself on camera. The mirror, no, that's completely different. I hate the mirror with a passion. I had a history of eating disorder and body dysmorphia, and so I constantly body check and am constantly criticizing myself in the mirror. So to me, the mirror was a dangerous and it was a war zone for me. Every time I saw a reflection in a car window, it was a war zone. So this took a little time for me. So give yourself some grace if this is the same thing for you. Start getting accustomed to the physical attributes of your face. So often we avoid mirrors or are compulsively drawn to our reflections to negatively body check ourselves to ensure that we're presentable as we prefer. Each morning, spend some time talking to yourself in the mirror. Make eye contact. That's super important. Let different parts of yourself slowly expose themselves and dissect issues or situations that have been bothering you that need like a pick-me-up. First, I want you to recite those 10 previous affirmations that we were talking about to your reflection and really soak in how it feels to be reading your own handwriting, saying it to your reflection, hearing it in your voice. And again, like how I talked about in step 1, after repetition, it's just gonna get more and more embedded into you and you're gonna start believing it. Don't consider it brainwashing, consider it positive reprogramming, because we've been so negatively programmed all of our lives. We're doing a positive reboot and we're putting in new data, okay? New data input. Blah, 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 blah. Let different parts of yourself slowly expose themselves and dissect issues or situations that have been bothering you or that need a pick-me-up. First, recite those previous 10 affirmations to your reflection and really soak in how it feels to hear and say those positive comments to yourself. Next, tell your reflection of your gossip. It won't tell a soul, I promise you. Ask your reflection for advice. How would you want your reflection to respond to a given situation? When you're looking at your reflection, when you see that this is the representation of me, this is what everyone in the world sees, this is my first impression. What do I want that first impression, that I don't want to say facade, but that being, that entity that is me, how do I want that represented in society? How do I want them to react? How do I want them to conduct themselves? And start really internalizing all of these thoughts. How would you want your reflection to respond to a given situation? This will help you to humanize yourself and eventually become your best confidant. I've had some of the best advice come from a mirror conversation or two. That mirror knows all of my secrets, believe you me. And it's great to actually vocalize them in a concise form to another person, instead of just having nebulous rants and thoughts and ideas just spinning around in your head. One more thing that helped me tremendously in validating myself was accepting that, you know what? It's okay to have reminders like these. It's okay to watch this video again. It's okay to copy down these notes right here, screenshot these notes, and use them. There is nothing wrong with that. If anything, you should be proud of yourself. You are empowering yourself. You're trying to help yourself evolve further. Yeah, have no shame in that. There was a time when I saw this as shameful, an indication that other people who seemed self-assured were somehow better than me, that they didn't need to do this. I wondered why my self-kindness didn't always come instinctively, but then I stopped judging myself. I remembered all the experiences that helped me shape my critical inner voice. It wasn't wearing a sign of weakness that I needed to put up in some effort. It was a sign of strength that I was willing to do it. It's one of life's great ironies. When we stop blaming ourselves for having room to grow, we're free to focus on the energies on doing it. So, with that note from the rooster out in the front door, I leave you with this. Yeah, self-validation, internal validation. It is what got me into remission from my mental health. It is a tool to give you self-worth. It is a tool to give you self-esteem. It is a tool for you to recognize the value that you have in yourself already, but you just can't see. And I promise you, if you follow these steps and if you recite them and if you practice them daily, you will become a much more confident and self-assured person. Promise you that. With light, love, and joy. Mwah.